Good evening, everybody. Right, my name is Artur, and I represent company Atom Mobility. So I will briefly talk about product design and how design is important in product, especially in the early stage startups, because the first story you heard today was a little bit about larger company like Bolt. Last time you heard a story about Revolut. And today I will try to briefly show you the struggles and the problems that smaller startups have at the very early stage of trying to find out the right product market fit for the business. And I will do this through my own experience. And I will try to get some valuable information for you. So you need to think through the story that I will tell you, and maybe you have some lessons, we'll learn some lessons that I have in my mind. So the idea is that today we will talk about two companies that I was involved in the past years. And to make this story a little bit more relevant for you, you need to know some facts about myself, and it's just probably polite to tell something. So I was building software and business for last 7 years, basically all my life after university. I was involved in different projects, and actually the first one was a very a long time ago. When I was at the third grade. I was a small child in a school, and that time I was passionate about football, soccer. So it was time when I was trying to, before the Champions League games, I was trying to sell key trinkets to my classmates. And that was my first, let's say, startup. And it was going great because I was going to the shop, buying this, redesigning, putting a logo of a football team and the logotypes of national flags of the national teams of football. And then I'm going to classmates and saying, hey guys, do you want to buy something like that? And I sell a lot of them. I return a couple of days to the shop, buying more and then selling again, until something bad happened. The teacher came up and said, hey, what do you have in your bag? And she take the bag, take it everything from outside my bag and then take it away. So it's like a taxation. I learned a lot from that, and I get back to the business 5 years later, but that time was more clever. So I haven't bring any products in class. I sell it online through e-commerce. It's at the time of eBay. I was in 8th grade, something like that. But more relevant experience probably that today we'll try to describe, and maybe some mistakes that we have made as a company, and I have made as a founder through my experience during the two companies in IT field. And I have raised rounds here in Latvia, which is not so easy if you are in startups, and if you are local entrepreneurs, you may know that. And during this period, actually, we made almost all common mistakes that you can read in Google, but it's always hard to take knowledge from the internet. Usually it's way easier when you learn that by doing, and then you understand that, yes, we made some mistake. And today I will try to show a couple of mistakes that we made. Maybe you can learn from that, take it back to home, and when you're building your project, your startup, maybe you're in corporate world and you're bringing new project inside a corporation, or you're just selling the software to other companies, you can use these lessons to really build more sustainable products. Okay, so the first story is about the first product that we built a couple of years ago, and the story I will call it redesign it all, which is a bad idea usually. So it started 6 or 7 years ago when we, together with my mates from university, decided that we want to go into startups. Before that, we were working in mostly in offline business or doing some e-commerce, and then we decided that this is a time when we need to go into IT. And as a recent graduates, we look for idea, we iterate a lot, and after planning, which took us, if I remember correctly, it took us about 2 years, which is incredibly crazy. You don't need to plan like that. We launched the product. Before that, we have forecasting, made everything forecasted for 5 years. business planning for like 10 years, something, applying to financing everywhere where we can, which was so stupid. Don't do it like that. Never. Like, it's so stupid idea to prepare everything on a paper before you really go and talk to your customer, to your user. So that's very stupid idea. But we finally launched. Everybody already was tired because we were planning for 2 years. We launched, and then the struggle come. No users, no revenue. What to do right now? The plan shows the revenue, but we really don't have it. What's wrong? We are wrong, or the plan is bad? And at that time, we realized that the product and talking to the customers is the key. And we started to iterate really quickly, go to the people, talk to them, go to our customers and buyers and ask what they need. And by doing that, we actually get to traction. That was a product called Qfer, and Qfer was a startup that aimed to match students and people with restaurants. And the idea was that we are promoting special offers of restaurants to people nearby. And actually, we were doing great at the beginning in terms of traction, at least for a local market. We scaled to about 300,000 of users in 3 countries at some point in time, and we thought that probably we're into something, and we can scale that and really build a business out of these 300,000 people. But the problem, the core problem in this was that we cannot get enough revenue to cover our cost and really to hire developers, designers, and build a team and build a sustainable business. So it was another struggle. So the product was kind of popular. People are using that somehow. They're downloading it. The growth is there, but the model is not there. So what we should do? Because we have audience from one side and business model which is broken on the other side. We think about that for a couple of months or weeks, iterated a bit. We made actually a couple of tests. The first idea we had was, okay, we have this amount of users, one hand. We have about 300 restaurants that are signed up to our platform. They know what we do. We're already matching them together. So people are going to restaurants and getting some discounts, etc. How we can get revenue from that? And the closest business model that we believe will be for this model was a commission from sales. So we need to integrate payment to the app and take the cut from the sales. And then basically what is this? It is mobile ordering from restaurants. So that's not a very unique idea, but we thought that we have user base and they will continue to order and we get a commission there. So that was our theory. Actually, we made some small test in our app. I will show you this creepy app. At that time we had no design, so it was like 5 years ago or something. Just like small team of 3-4 people, and we ran a small test. We just added a couple of restaurants and say, hey, you will receive mobile orders and people will pay to you and we'll take small commission. Are you okay? They say yes. Let's try it out. And we run a small test. We show the small button there, order ahead and get convenient and go to the restaurant and don't wait in line. And that was idea of testing before launching. And it's failed. The conversion rate was really low. But again, we thought, it should be something there because users are there, restaurants are there, people are doing something in the app, but conversions are bad. Probably design is wrong. Totally, design is bad. This is why the conversion rates are low. So we decide, let's do it from the scratch. Let's rebuild everything. We hire a designer. We work with this designer for 3 or 4 months, build a couple of versions, launched. And we thought a beautiful app, a lot of users, everything should work out for us. Nothing. Again, the same thing. Conversions are super low. Nobody orders. People are still opening the app, but no orders are close to 0 or maybe 10 or 20 of them. We thought, okay, what we can do here? We have some app, we have users, but still no business model. So we decided, let's slowly improve every screen that we have in app by conversion rate. And finally, maybe we will generate enough revenue to cover our costs. So we take registration screen, we redesign it. Then we take the screen of the main app, we redesign it. Then we take ordering screen, we also redesign it. By doing that, within a half a year, we improve conversion like almost 2 times, but which is cool, and I believe it's really great success for the team, and like improving conversion rates 2 times is great, but the goal was 10x. So we are still far away from our goal. And then we needed to make change, like redesign everything, rebuild, find a new business model, which already was really tough because we know that we already made a lot of mistakes. Everybody was tired, exhausted, but still there are users, there are companies that are believing in us. Let's do one more try. Let's make one more business model that definitely should work. So we take the closest business model that we had. We take a look on the market. We try to analyze larger players that are doing something with the restaurants and consumers. And we again launched new products, which was food delivery. And it's very, very old market. A lot of companies already was doing enough profit on them. We analyzed larger players, and we thought that, yeah, we're super clever. We'll make a pivot, and we get attraction, and we will deliver food to all people in Baltics and in Russia, and we'll definitely get a good business model for us. But again, it was hard. The user base didn't like new design. They liked the old one, creepy one, more. So they started mailing us saying, hey, can you bring back the old design? We like it more. We said, no. Then I delete the app. Okay, delete the app because the old one didn't work for us anymore. So the first thing was the negative from users. The second thing that, okay, they probably don't understand what's happening because the switch was so far away from where we were then. It's from so very different market. Like we were in a discount market right now in food delivery, and that doesn't make a good match for the users. So we started to push our new vision to the users. We are starting to tell them that, hey guys, we're not more about special offers or restaurants. We're about food delivery, and live with that, right? But users are not so happy about this. So they decline our offer of ordering, and they just continue do what they've done before. They're trying to find offers from restaurants to the app. But we don't want to do that anymore because we know this is failing. But slowly we started continue pushing this idea to all the user base, and slowly we started to grow. It was, I believe, 2 years ago, March. We started this after this rebranding, the relaunch, let's say. It's actually complete pivot of the idea. And we started to grow. Beginning it was a couple of thousands, then 10,000, 15,000. We reached 25,000 in revenue, in sales, actually, in revenue, in sales in December. And we thought that growth is there. The numbers are not that we are so excited, but it's growing. Let's continue. At some point, we will hit our goal, which was about 150,000 euros in turnover per month. On this scale, we forecasted we'll generate enough revenue to be profitable and to get a very good unit economics from every user that are there in the app. So we're still like five times, 6 times less than we need. And at some time after December, which was the best month for us, we just saw that everything is going down. January is bad, February is bad, March is even worse, and at some point we just decided that doesn't work for us. The users don't understand the product, and we made a lot of mistakes, and we just need to go away with that and work on something new. So we tried to sell the product to somebody in the industry that may be interested. Then we showed our Excel sheets to investors and asked if they're potentially interested in that, because we still at that time we have about 200,000 users, and we thought that maybe with marketing we can move this to a different direction and scale again, and then on a certain level of turnover we may be profitable. But again, it's doesn't work. Either plan, there's a first plan of selling the company, and the second plan of finding investor doesn't work for us. So it was 4 or 5 months when we were were in the process of thinking what's next, and at the end of the day we closed the company. It's bad story, sad story, but some of the key things that I would like to pinpoint here, it's very important, and we learn from that very a lot, and we actually take a lot of these things to our next project, and take into our mind that we need to change the mind how we are designing or designing the product and thinking about what's the priority for the company. So yeah, the first idea is focusing on simple design with as one or even like 0.8 features in a product. So in this case, it's way more easier to analyze if you are doing something good and our users are okay to pay for that, or you're doing something completely wrong. In our case, we have 5, 6, 7 different features which are like we thought that the main features, and then about 10, 12 features that are kind of secondary. So a lot of things to measure, a lot of things to test, and we are just losing focus by doing that. So my recommendation will be that at the beginning, just focus on something core, make a beautiful but very simple design, so we don't build it for a long period of time and just launch and see what market will tell to you. Second thing that is probably sometimes I have seen that happening a lot, especially if the founder is young and first-time entrepreneurs. They're thinking that design will solve the problem. Design will never solve the problem of the business. It will be increasing your problems even worse if you have a huge gap in your business model, or decreasing a bit if you are good at design but the business model doesn't work for you. So you can improve your results by, let's say, 10 to 80%, but you will never reach 10x or 20x with just redesign. This doesn't work like that for us, and I believe for your next startups as well. Yeah, and the third lesson, which is not so obvious, but sometimes it's very painful, and we felt that pain very well, because the full redesigns sometimes are going through pain, and users don't like them. Maybe you have heard of some big companies doing very huge redesign for some long period of time, and then just people say that that's bad. I will never use this solution, software, etc. I will use competitors because they're used to that. They don't want to see changes every day. They don't care about your business model. They care about the things that they are open the app and they see it as it was before, and understand where is the main button. So that's something that we learned, and we can avoid this mistake by dividing a full redesign to small steps. So we do that within 6 months, 7 months. You redesigning a small feature, then one screen, second one, and at the end of the year or the plan, you have a full redesign. But the users already know a little bit of your new features, a little bit of your new design, and in this case you minimize risks and minimize potential negative aspects from the users. And the last one, it's never like the profits are never equal with users and vice versa. Sometimes even if you have users and you think that you may monetize them, that's not so easy. And switching user base from one product to another one, always not always bad idea usually. So the thing is, like, you can search for a product that failed. A lot of big companies making these mistakes actually still. There are actually a huge list of top 50 failed products from the Google. And one of them was Google Offers, actually, which was a Google clone for a Groupon company in States. Another one was creepy payment solution, Google hands-free payments, where you go to the retail shop and say, Google, I want to pay, and then you pay. But again, it's kind of good idea or bad idea. We cannot evaluate that, but they have user base which is almost for free. So potentially, in theory, they can get every product to the roof, to the profitability and to the masses. But the problem is that the product is not equal to users. The product is a mix of design, of idea, of interface, of customer support, of marketing, of sales, of execution, and that's just sometimes doesn't work together. You need to find this unique mix of things to make product work. So that's moving from one story and one product that we had to another one. And we took a little bit of our experience and the rest of our energy and decided, okay, we never stop. We like to build companies. We like IT. We'll continue, but we will take these lessons and we'll try to do better this time. So we understand that the speed is actually the crucial when you have a small team and you are having not enough resources to hire more people. You're like 3, 5, 7 people team, and you need to move really, really fast from the one milestone to another one. And this is a lesson that we learned, and this is a lesson that we took to our next company, which moved us to a very growing market of mobility and transportation. We took this market because it's rapidly growing. It's very interesting. And we decided that there are like more than 4,000 cities worldwide where we have about 100,000 or more people in population. And they don't have any access to shared mobility, to green mobility. And we saw the opportunity for that. So we built an Atom, which is technology for shared mobility. So we are actually the back end. We are the technology behind the car sharings and scooter sharings, bike sharings. And we believe that we can help local entrepreneurs in Saudi Arabia, in Brazil, in the States, in Italy, in Africa, to build local companies and provide green mobility to their cities. So that was our idea, and that's how we started. And we tried to implement every lessons that we learned from our past experience to build a more sustainable product, more sustainable business, to be faster, to be more profitable, and to power different products under one roof. So currently we are supporting scooter sharing, bike sharing, moped sharing, and also electrical car sharing in the nearest future. And the values that we bring to the customers usually are the speed of entering the market and customization. So they get a product very fast with minimal risk, and everything works fine, and they can go to market and really focus on very two important things of every startup and business: marketing and support. So getting more customers and supporting more customers, like basically daily operations. And by doing that, we tried out different approaches, and here I just show up a couple of things that I believe help us go from the previous failure to current, I will say, success. That's the speed of actions, speed of changing your mind, speed of execution. That's a very important thing. And this helped us with a very limited resources last year, with a very short period of time, within a very short period of time. We launched the product in 60 days, and we get to the first revenue in 60 days, which is very important for every company, that you hit the first milestone, which is usually users or revenues or financing round. And this helped us to be one of the first in Baltics, actually the first one. And we still try to use the speed as our benefit, use it for our higher and more aggressive growth, use it in sales, use it in customer support, use it everywhere we can. So that also helps us to iterate on a business model, because initial idea was that we will work both on B2C markets, so business to customers, and business to business. And when we started that, we understood that in months, we understood that we need to change that and refocus fully on B2B, because doing two models will be very risky for us and just will kill us because of the lack of resources and lack of focus. And yeah, this is how we got from zero and currently growing in 6 markets and more to come. And only after when we hit the first revenues and we understood that, yeah, probably the product is good or good enough so we can sell it. And the business model is there. So we calculated that, yes, it looks like profitable, and long term it should be profitable. Then only then we started to look on design and architecture, technical architecture, how we can scale that faster, how we can build mobile apps and technology faster, and how we can increase conversion rates on registration, how we can increase conversion rates on on starting the right screen, and etc., etc., etc. So only then we started to think about more professional looking mobile app, more professional looking admin panel, and different things that are the first thing you think that's very important, but actually it's not so. You can postpone it until you really understand that you hit something, you hit the market, and you can scale. And the third thing that comes within the business market where we are currently, since we are serving B2B customers, we are receiving a lot of requests, which coming to us in different forms like email or chat, WhatsApp, or just like by calling or something. And handling these requests sometimes is hard. And this structure can be used, and the models that I will present here later on, it can be used also in outsourced companies. If you're building IT for other companies, it can be used in your larger corporation if you have employees, colleagues, and they are requesting a lot of features, and you cannot build everything at the same time, which is obviously not a good idea. So we end up with a very simple, actually, very simple, stupid model, but I believe this works for us, and it may work also for you. So when we receive a feature list, about 50 or 60 features from different customers, we just write down everything and go through the simple questionnaire to understand how this feature will be good or not for the product. Will it be good for the users? Will it be good for our customers? Etc. So the third thing, the core of the feature, will it be focused on something specific? Will it increase our revenue or revenue of the customer? Will it increase our speed of execution? Will it decrease costs, which actually is the same as increased revenue? If yes, then the criteria passes and we send it to the next stage. Another thing is if the customer is especially popular in IT companies when you are building outsource to other companies, and they're requesting and trying to bid a lot of features in the same budget. And sometimes you just can ask, are you okay to pay for this feature? And immediately this feature becomes not so important. Another thing is that will this feature, if you are building the platform and you're serving as a platform for different customers, not only one, then the feature should be valuable also for other companies. Then you maximize your effort and maximize your potential by building this particular thing. And this is very important for us because we are serving different customers, and if we're doing one feature for every and they can use it only in one way, then that's not very beneficial for the core of the product, and we're not increasing our value to the customers at the end of the day. And of course, here maybe not the right not the right priorities, but one of the most important things is what problem this feature will solve to your customer or to your employee or to your colleague. That's something sometimes we forget, but the feature requests that we got is not in the best way. So just like somebody can call me and say, hey, we have a problem. We urgently, like tomorrow, need a feature that will multiply block a couple of users. Sound legit, like I can take this task and go and execute that task. But I just asking why you need to block multiple users. We have this blocking mechanism. You just can type email of the user, find the user and block it if you want. No, Artur, you don't understand. We want to block like all of them or majority of them because it's crap. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for us. Do it fast, please do it fast. We will pay you money. So that's something that we require, like get it from a customer. We thought, why he want to block the users? That doesn't make sense. So we asked, so what's the problem? And we started to discuss. We started to ask the real problem of this, what this feature will solve, because blocking users will never help you, right? And the answer was really, really simple. They had a lot of fraud payments in the country. And that was the way how our partner saw the results, right? And the features that will help them to prevent fraudulent payments, which actually not the right way to do that. So we sit down and figure out how we can minimize the fraud in this country. we talk with the payment provider, we add some triggers there, we ask for additional 2D secures on some screens, and we solve that on the other level, so they don't need to block people actually. They just have better payments, better conversion rates, and less fraud just by talking to payments provider and improving the payment screen and some security things. That's something that I usually face when we are talking to customers that are not very deeply in the product and don't know the whole process. Sometimes they take a specific problem and think that they know the solution, but you as a manager, you as a product developer, designer or owner, you need to deeper and ask the core, what the problem you're trying to solve with this feature. It's very important. Otherwise, you will build a creepy product. Sometimes it's market trend, and if you are larger companies, if you have resources, you can follow the trend, or you can wait and see if the trend is going. If the trend is there, maybe you should do this feature. If everybody does that, you maybe should do that. But wait, give it a couple of months, maybe it will just a random thing that's pop up somewhere in the internet, and you don't need to really react on that. Don't waste your resources on something that is trendy right now, and in 3 months it will be nothing. And the last one is mainly for companies that are working in highly competitive markets, as we are working. So mobility is highly competitive market, and sometimes it's very good for the sales team and for marketing team if the company has some unique feature. Maybe it's not actually so popular feature for the customers, but some unique features that you can present and say that it's unique for our company, and that will solve you a lot of problems. Sometimes where it works well, especially if you're running B2B marketing online, then this kind of feature can take you away from the competition and you will stand out. And after taking all this questionnaire, all the feature requests, we analyzed, okay, let's move forward. What we need to prioritize. It's very simple, very stupid formula that we are using in our company to make a next sprint for development. It's very simple, but it's sometimes useful to remember this. Otherwise, your sprints will be endless, and you will be building features, and that will not be something valuable for your product. So it's very simple. You put different criteria that you need to evaluate. In our case, we first of all focus on impact. And in our case, impact, we measure that in impact on revenue. If we can gain more revenue for our customers or for ourselves, then it's perfect. Then we put there 3 or that depends on how you scale that. In our case, we put it from 0 to 3. You can do that from 0 to 5 or from 1 to 10, doesn't matter. So we can put it 3 for the impact on the revenue or cost cutting. The second thing is resources. How much time it will take for your team to build that. And here you need to include also not only development resources and designing, but also negotiation with the customer, planning, mock-upping, wireframing that, and then also very important to measure where in this scale should this feature should be for your product. And the last one is, for us at least, is request. So how many requests from the different customers we got on this feature or similar feature. Sometimes the features can be batched in one. And then we put different criteria for everything, and we sum up, we multiply and sum up, and we get a score for every feature. And then you can put like top 5 or top 3 for your next development cycle and launch. And this is how you can prioritize your tasks and your inquiries on customer. And another thing that we do, we plan short sprints, and we also plan like for a longer period. So for example, like for 3 or 6 months, and we show this plan for our companies that we work with, for them to understand that if they continue to work with us, they will have this and this product in 3 months, in 6 months. This feature is planned in 9 months. Like a very, very brief overview of everything that we are planning to do. And this also helps us to solve kind of a lot of questions regarding when this will be done or when we can do this thing. Because they see the same plan that I see, and they know that, okay, these guys are doing something, and in 3 months we will getting this and that. but you need to deliver that result as well. So take it very seriously. So okay, that's kind of brief lessons from my personal experience. I hope you enjoy it, and probably you can get something valuable from these failures and successes. If you want to talk about something scaling or raising capital in Latvia, or testing the product, or trying to get attraction for your first startup, you can just drop me an email and I'll be happy to help you as much as I can. And especially, you can write down some email, especially if you are a Python developer or Android developer. That's highly popular, guys. And we also looking for clever people that can help us to build future company that helping the green economy expand and mobility expand in every country then in the world. So that's our goal, and we're looking for people that are believing that we can accomplish these goals and help us make it from Latvia. Thank you.
Sorry, what is your annual turnover?
For which company?
Mobility.
So we started like 6 months ago officially. So we currently about 150K we made this year. And next year, I believe we will do somewhere 300K per year.
Okay. Do you conduct your end user research, or your business partners do it? Or maybe you don't do it at all?
What exactly?
The end user research, the end users.
So basically, for our case, it's very simple because we're also running a B2C part of our business. So we really have the real riders. Not for a huge scale. Our companies that we work with are larger, and we want them to be larger. But we can focus on our B2C and test there something. And then when we've done that, we can implement to other partners. So that's currently how it works. And on the partner side, we also can do that. But it's very hard to, if you're talking about user interviews, for example, it's very hard to do that because we don't really interact with end users, because the companies that we work for actually interact, and there are different geographies, different language. So we can work only with analytics, conversion rates, heat maps. Like we are really loving Amplitude for analytics, and that helps us to understand where are the problems in our product, where are the worst conversion rates, and then we can iterate a bit, change something, launch, see if it works for us. If it works for us, then we launch to other companies.
How about other mobility? How to compete to unicorn? I mean, how are you feeling from this market?
Yeah, in our case, we don't really compete with them. There are large guys that are trying to do B2C model. Actually, we don't compete with them because we switched from B2C to B2B, and we're helping other guys to compete with them. So that's the idea. Because the thing is that when you are large, like in our market, the larger players are Lime and Bird from States. When you're large, you are very good on raising capital and spending capital. The problem is when you're going locally to small cities, you can go to London or Paris, you can be successful there because the market is huge. But if you're going to smaller cities, it's not so interesting for them because of they already spent so much investments before. So it's going to small city like 150K for them doesn't make sense economically. And there where we can help local players to build similar businesses so they can scale up and make this multi-city venture, and then they can beat the larger player on local market, because local market gives you a local understanding. In our case, because we are in mobility, usually it's relates with the government, so you need to talk with the government to get the permits and licenses to operate, which is way easier for a local guy who knows the guy who knows the guy who knows the guy. And way cheaper, because the larger companies, what they do is just throw out the cash there. So that's our approach, how we do. And the goal is to help the local entrepreneurship survive and beat the bigger guys on the local markets.
Question, are you doing well compared to local Fixie, Bolt and Monk, or how you said you are not really competing?
Yeah, sure. We have a B2C model here in Latvia. It's our test product, and we know there are a couple of players here in Latvia. I don't know the numbers they have And I don't think that we are a B2C company. We have a B2C presence, and this is our playground where we need really test and see how it works. But actually, our core product is B2B, providing the technology to other players. That's a larger part of our business currently. The B2C model for us works here in Latvia. It works pretty well. We gain profits in the first season, which is kind of good. But I don't think that we can scale it as much from Latvia. This kind of business, it's way easier and maybe even clever to scale B2B part and help through the technology. So that's the idea. But comparing to other guys, I cannot comment because I don't know the metrics. I hope that they're going good because otherwise the business model is broken. And it's broken for them, then we need to fix it together.
Maybe more kind of a personal question. I mean, you as a very entrepreneurial person, based on your introduction, I'm wondering, I mean, or I can imagine that you had millions of ideas in your head when you were deciding to start one business or the other. Why did you land on these two that you have presented? Was there any kind of, do you have some kind of a system for yourself to identify, okay, this is the business I want to be involved in, and the other one, it's just completely not my thing? Do you have some kind of a system or just guts feeling? How do you choose which projects to work on?
Yeah, very, very interesting question. So at the beginning, it was just like, in the early stage, it was just like looking for opportunities. But when we started Q4, it was more like we wanted to be definitely in B2C market. So the idea of the team was that we want to go to B2C. That was not only my decision at that time. We were a couple of co-founders, so we thought that B2C is a market because in B2C you usually have a higher valuations, and there are success stories that came from the Baltics. And we thought that we may repeat something like that. And for B2C, usually the valuations on the exit are X time higher than on B2B. And then we choose the area where we have some personal interest. So we were students, so we were building a project for the students and people like us. So at that time, we had no money, so we built a discount service, right? Pretty logical. But not so clever, but just logical. And for Atom, it's also personal interest. I was always interested in transportation mobility market. And I tried to find a way how to enter this market because a lot of companies already doing something like ride hailing is already for 5 years there or 7 years there. Sharing in old style, like car sharing is there. And we wanted to definitely go in that market, and we're looking for right opportunity. And then the new wave of scooters came in, and we thought that this market will boom definitely. At the beginning, I don't know what exactly I will be doing in this market. So I took the primitive model of just, okay, we will do that as larger guys, but in local market. And when we done that, we figure out that there are so many people that are similar to us, but they're doing something similar in bike sharing in Thailand, scooter sharing in Italy, and etc. And they all need technology. So why we need to focus on B2C and try to raise capital and scale if we can help them, and then we can grow this globally. So and this was the idea when we switched from just operating locally to really providing the B2B. Because in the end, we are an IT company and we want to be IT company. And operations is something that asks resources and scale. So we decided we will take another path.
My question is, in which cities you are represented? Only in Riga and Jurmala, or?
Yeah, so currently we operate in Latvia as we are. Then we have customers in Scandinavia. We have customers, we don't operate under Atom brand because we are building the platform for them. They're rebranding that. You don't have our name there. Sometimes we even design some of the screens totally redesigned for them. So we have customers in Southern Europe. We have customers in Eastern Europe. We have customers in Middle East. And soon we're also launching in Latin America.
Do you have already annual statistics, or it's really?
Annual statistics, it's hard because we started B2B model in June this year, and the first customer closed in August. So like a couple of months only, but we know the average, what we measure is the average amount of rides per every vehicle that's placed outside in the city. And we measure that because of the business model, and we know that you need to have 2.5 or 2 rides per day to at least sustain. And in average, currently we have about 4.5 for our customers. The highest is 8 rides per day per week. On the lowest currently is 2.2, but there is a winter and it's Scandinavia. Thank you.